Ask a couple more questions, and then we're going to wrap up the hearing. Mr. Karen, give us your best argument why recreational daylight is so important to your members.
My members deliver joy for a living, and they happen to run businesses making that happen. So to them, if they saw more people in the afternoons and the evenings enjoying the outdoors with each other, it's why they get out of bed. It's why they do this. So they'll have better lives as business owners. They'll be able to pay the bills a little bit better and reinvest in their businesses if they had a little bit of a boost more in the afternoons and evenings.
That was helpful, although I will say on the delivering joy, I couldn't help but think of I think the best comedy riff ever done, which is Robin Williams' on golf, which I will note is profane but screamingly funny, and he points out that golf was invented by the Scots and how infuriating it can be at time, and he said, I know, we'll call it a stroke, because when you miss, you want to have a stroke.
Very good.
All right, Dr. Johnson. Would shifting time zones slightly address the concerns for communities that are in dark zone areas if the clock were permanently set on daylight savings times? Does shifting the time zones make a difference?
So we would encourage all states to be within their sort of time zone that is closest to the sun being overhead at noon. So, for example, like Indiana being more in the central time zone versus the eastern time zone would help get them more aligned with the sun. But it should be standard time. So there has been a push on the East Coast to have us in Atlantic Standard Time. That is the time set for Bermuda. That is not the time set for any of the East Coast. So, we want permanent standard Eastern time, not permanent standard Atlantic time, which is the exact same as permanent daylight savings time.
Dr. Harkey, what has your research found as it relates to traffic accidents immediately following a time change?
So that's what we were looking at as part of our research, was in that 5-week period before and the 5-week period after the time change. And when we fall back in the fall, vehicle occupant deaths go down about 7%. And when they spring forward, vehicle occupant deaths go up about 12%. And the exact opposite with pedestrian and fatalities. So when we fall back, pedestrian and fatalities rise 13%, and then when we spring forward, they go down 24%. And so the net effect is almost zero between pedestrian and vehicle, pedestrian, bicyclists, and vehicle deaths. And so that's why our research really doesn't come out strongly in favor of either one. But what's clear is that darkness matters. And that's where we do about a quarter of our travel at night, and yet that's when 50% of the vehicle occupant deaths occur, and when more than 3/4 of the pedestrian deaths occur. So regardless of what policy decision is made with regards to the time and where we set the clocks, we have to make sure we're continuing to improve our infrastructure, continuing to improve vehicle technology that will address the safety risk that we have at night in dark conditions.
So you just said darkness mattered, and it occurred to me an alternative title for this hearing, instead of If We Could Turn Back Time, might have been Hello Darkness, My Old Friend. All right. Look, this hearing was important, and I wanted to hear all this testimony because I personally struggle with the two choices here, because it's a question of what do you care about more, sunshine and joy and fun and money, or health, mental health, physical health, and the honest answer for most people is, gosh, I care about all that stuff. So that's not an easy trade-off. The alternative that has been suggested is let each state make that decision. And I guess it's been pointed out that Senator Scott's bill does a version of that by picking daylight savings times, but then letting states opt out. Let me ask, as a practical matter, does that work? Functionally, how confusing is that, having everyone pick different times? How does that work for commerce, for life, for knowing what the hell time it is? Let me have each of you answer that.
Senator Cruz, thank you for that. The one little part of Senator Markey's history about when they changed the time in November was that the proposal was to move daylight saving time to finish at the end of November, and the airlines came back and said, no, we don't want a time change in the middle of our busiest travel season. And so they were going to scrap that, and then they got the extra week to put it in. So time is always complicated, and the system that we have, the system that we have is complicated, but it's complicated because it is a human creation. Right? The sun moving around the earth doesn't actually have anything to do with time. Time is the agreement that we have about what 10 o'clock means, because we don't want to go around saying, the committee hearing will start when the sun is 2 hands above the horizon. We need this system. But the system has this bug right now, and the bug is daylight saving time. It's the switching of the clocks. And so if we have a little bit of time, a couple of years, so that the individual states can address all of these complexities and make those decisions, then we will be able to get rid of this bug permanently. It's something that we've been stuck with since World War I, and this is our opportunity to finally fix it.
Mr. Kara?
I'm not going to say that government solutions cause more confusion, but you can imagine in this scenario that Florida is on daylight saving time, Georgia right above it's on standard, South Carolina is on daylight, et cetera, in the same spot because maybe special interests of all kinds made that happen. So I already have problems remembering which state is in which time zone as it is right now, sometimes the border states. To add to that, they're in central and they're on standard. What time is it there exactly? So I can see where this causes more confusion. Wish I had a better answer for you on that one, but could we adjust and figure that out quickly? I don't know. I see it as problematic, but it may be the only way to thread the needle.
Dr. Johnson?
Yeah, I think, the economy, the transportation industry certainly needs consistency and alignment. So we want to make this change once. We don't want to pick something that's tried and been failed twice before, such that we spend lots of money fixing it again in a few years. You mentioned the economy, which again, is so important. And, the majority of our workers start work early. The average work start time is 7:55 in the morning. So we'd be forcing people all winter to go to work in the dark, really affecting their productivity and economics. And so while, certain businesses are going to have different, benefits of the sun, I actually do want to give sun to people when they use it to get up, when they use it to be healthy, when they use it to be more productive and efficient at work, and to improve the overall economy, not just niche, businesses like the golf industry that have shown they can be very successful in standard time, like in Arizona.
Dr. Harkey?
Strictly speaking, from a road safety perspective, I'm not sure it would make any difference if states had the right to select the time, because it's about the amount of light, the amount of ambient light during the times of travel. And so I don't think it would have an impact. Personally, it would probably confuse me, but we had that problem. I will give you a quick anecdote. Almost 40 years ago, we were collecting speed data in New Mexico and Arizona as part of a research study. Had no idea at that time, being right out of school, hadn't really paid attention, that Arizona did not bother to go to daylight savings times. That all of our equipment was an hour off when we went to pick up all the speed data, and we had to adjust it after the fact. And so I think you would have those kinds of things, right, that could work their way into the system, unintentional mistakes, if we were to get into a system where we had a lot of different time zones going on.
Well, I for one, am thankful for these magic devices that we carry, that when I land on a plane, I look down to figure out what time it is, because I'm on a lot of planes and it changes.